Kinds of football things, but Drew is here on behalf of Heat Factor and HeatFactor.com, an educational program about exertional heat stroke, or EHS. Drew, tell us about why this is important to you.
Well, it's very important as we approach these summer months, and kids are going to be getting out of school. Temperatures are rising, obviously, throughout the country. As we think about summertime, kids are going to be involved in summer camps, programs, sports, all kinds of activities where they're going to be outside running around. And the more that we can educate ourselves and our parents, teachers, and coaches about what EHS is, what the signs and symptoms of it are, the more that we can protect our kids as they get out in the heat during the summer. We've created a campaign called the Heat Factor and a website, theheatfactor.com, where we have a bunch of educational videos to help raise awareness and educate people as to the signs and symptoms. So what are those signs and symptoms? Well, in many cases, it's kind of similar to what a concussion might be, which is dizziness, acting confused, disoriented, emotional mood swings like being agitated and that kind of thing.
When you're going to be outside this summer in training camp in just a little while in OTAs, you're going to have a new guy in your backfield, Adrian Peterson. What was your reaction when you found that Adrian Peterson was going to play in the Saints offense?
Oh, man, excited. Obviously you're talking about the guy who was the NFL leading rusher 2 years ago, and injured most of last year. But, man, he's got a lot of juice, and I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's ready to go, and to combine him with a guy that we already have, Mark Ingram, who, in my opinion, is one of the best all-purpose backs in the league when it comes to running between the tackles and catching the ball in the backfield, pass protection, being a third down guy. So, those two guys I think will be an incredible 1-2 punch for us. And as we watch our offense come together this offseason with OTA starting next week and then mini camp, training camp, et cetera, it just gets me excited about having those two guys in the backfield and the other weapons that we have on offense.
Well, absolutely. Adrian is a huge plus, but then you lose Brandon Cooks going to New England. How do you replace his home run threat in that New Orleans offense where he was just the guy that could bust the lid on every defense?
Yeah, well, we go out and we sign a guy like Ted Ginn from the Carolina Panthers, a veteran guy who's got a lot of games under his belt, a lot of experience, and still has a lot of juice as well. I mean, he can just flat out run. But I think he was very productive in Carolina over the last few years. I think he added another dimension to their offense. I think he can do the same for us. So compliment him with a young guy like Michael Thomas, who really came on for us last year, and Willie Snead and our tight end position. And, I feel like we've got a pretty formidable offense.
Well, we've seen that. There's no doubt about that. Offense has not been the problem for New Orleans Saints the last few years. You've been atop the passing charts, and the offense has been right there. How do you get out of the cycle of 7-9 for 3 straight years? How do you fix that defense? Obviously, you got Marshawn Lattimore, the corner out of Ohio State, in the first round. But is that the emphasis here, to make sure that the defense can somehow match the offense's production?
Well, I think you learn you learn the winning formula, and each year, I mean, there's a lot of things that carry over, but at the end of the day, so many games in our league come down to the final possession. In fact, I'd say more than half of your games come down to the final possession. And if you're winning a majority of those games, then in most cases you're a playoff team. And if you're not, then you end up going 7-9.
All right, I did some math ahead of this interview, which is not easy for me, so just know I did that for you. You've averaged almost 5,100 passing yards the last 6 seasons. You are now just 5,800 passing yards behind Peyton Manning for tops all time and 74 touchdown passes behind Peyton Manning for the most all time. How much do you think about the potential for you to be the guy at the top of both of those lists when your career is done?
I don't think about it right now. There's other things that are more important to me. But when it's all said and done, if I could be at the top of that list, that would be special. That would certainly be an accomplishment. It would remind me of all the great teammates and coaches and everybody that I've had a chance to play this game with for a long time, and been very blessed to be able to do that.
You're 38. You're going to be the second oldest quarterback in football this year behind Tom Brady, who just won another Super Bowl. He says he wants to play till he's 45. What are your goals? How much longer do you want to be doing this?
Well, 3 years ago, I said the same thing. I said I wanted to play till I was 45. Do I think it's possible? Yeah, absolutely, if that's what I want to do. But, I'm so in the here and now. I'm so in the moment that I really am not thinking about anything beyond this year and this opportunity and the sense of urgency that I've created for myself and our team for this year. That's really all I'm concerned with, and because I understand that each year is precious. And I'm more towards the end of my career than I am the beginning. So I don't feel like I'm running out of time, but I also don't take for granted a single moment.
With that in mind, is it weird at all for you to look at guys like Jay Cutler and Tony Romo, who might be calling games of you playing, and they're now younger than you are in the booth on the other side of it?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of interesting to think about. But I think it's a natural transition for guys that played the quarterback position to go into the broadcast booth, because I think there's just a level of knowledge about the game, not just your position, but everyone's position. It's just kind of the nature of playing quarterback. So I think it's a natural fit for guys like that. But to think that these guys were just playing the game less than a year ago, and they're all of a sudden in the booth. I'm not saying that neither of those guys are ever going to be out on the field again. I could see them both out on the field again.
Look at that. We buried the lead.
They're going to be in the booth.
We buried the lead with Drew Brees right there. He may think both Tony and Jay may be coming back at some point. Well, if they do, they'll probably be playing against you, because you're going to go till you're 46, 47, whatever. Drew, as always, we appreciate your time. Really important cause. And have a great season, and we'll talk to you.